Why do people have to be idiots when they drive past my house? If I could eat salmon every day for the rest of my life, I totally would, if I didn't get mercury poisoning. Oops. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally getting around to doing a tag video that I have been meaning to do for some time. This was a video that I was tagged to do by Faye from Books and Chocoholic. It's called the I believe tag, I still believe, something like that. Anyway, it's based on the X-Files TV show. I didn't really watch much of the X-Files. My parents did, but I don't really remember much from what they were watching. I remember bits and pieces, but I don't remember a great deal. But yeah, the X-Files. She wanted to see me do this with another food video like I did before. So my previous mukbang bookish video was snacks and like candy related foods. Today is going to be an actual meal. I figure because this is a sci-fi type book tag that when I think of sci-fi, I think of weird foods. Sushi always comes to mind when I think of weird foods, or what people think of with weird foods. So I figured it was quite a good pairing for this particular tag. So I have my chopsticks, I have all my sushi, I have my soy sauce, and I have a glass of lemonade. I'm also filming this at night, so that's why the lighting is different. But that's because I just came home from work not too long ago and Brad's on night shift. This seemed like the perfect opportunity to film a video. So before we get into the tag, I'll let you know what I've got for this food. So I have a bunch of nigiri, which are these ones that are on rice. I have salmon and avocado baby rolls. I've got some ginger and wasabi, and then I've got sashimi. So I've got salmon, a very crappy amount of tuna, and I'm not sure what the white fish is, but it's tasty anyway. Let's dig in. Faye, I hope this makes you hungry because, you know, it's sushi. I love sushi. She did want me to do this tag so I could make her hungry again. So I hope you like sushi, Faye. And if you don't, well, I hope this makes you hungry anyway. All right, what am I going to start with? I think I'm going to start with one of the baby rolls. They're so yummy. It's just salmon and avocado. It's delicious. So number one is pilot, a great beginning to a series or a trilogy. For this one, I'm going with the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I feel like the first book was perfect for an introduction to the trilogy. It introduced you to the characters, it introduced you to the world really well. I feel like it really set the stage for the trilogy. And although I was disappointed with the ending, I was absolutely enthralled by the series because of the first book. And this is just carrot. Number two, squeeze. What is your favorite monster in a book? I haven't really read many books with monsters. Like, I'm not a horror reader or anything like that. I don't read a lot of thrillers either. So the one I could think of, I'm kind of going for like not necessarily a creature type monster, but I'm going with humans as the monster. And the book is The Handmaid's Tale. Because technically, we're kind of the monsters in that scenario, in that book. Great book and great TV show. But yeah, I'm going to go with The Handmaid's Tale for the simple fact that we're the monsters in that one. Number three is the ErlenMeyer Flask. What is the best sci-fi you have ever read? I haven't read a lot of like adult sci-fi. I've read a lot more young adult sci-fi. What I'm going to try? I might try this one because it's my least favorite. I think it's like squid or something like that. but from the young adult sci-fi that I've read, I've really enjoyed it. I think for this one, I'll go with the ErlenMeyer Files because it's very uniquely set out. It's a very gripping story, and I really love the characters. Like, I love the second one more, I guess, out of the trilogy, but the ErlenMeyer Files as a whole is a fantastic sci-fi trilogy. I love it. So number 4 is Clyde Bruckman's final Repose. What is your favorite book? I don't know if I've said this before, but my favorite book, if I had to pick one, because I love a lot of books, would have to be The Book Thief. I love The Book Thief because it's historical fiction, it's set in World War II, and it's just a beautiful, emotional story, and it focuses on the Germans rather than the Americans. It's just good to read something from that side, I guess. Number 5 is Jose Chungs from Outer Space. What is the funniest book you have read? I can't really think of much that has made me absolutely lose all control of my laughter. Like, there are books that I've read that have really good humor, but I think for this one, I would probably go with Beauty Queens by Libba Bray, because when I think of that, I think of satire, and I think of how, like, she wrote this book. Like, there's some definite, like, heavy things happening in this book, like, you know, people dying and everything, and somehow she makes it hilarious. I really enjoyed it, and I think, yeah, if I was to think of something that would have made me laugh, or at least really enjoy the whole time in a humorous sort of way, would have been Beauty Queens. I love ginger. Number 6 is Home. What is the most disturbing thing you have ever read? For this one, I'm going with a book called Forbidden. I think it's by Tabitha Suzuma. This book, wow. it was really good, but it was definitely a taboo subject. So this book focuses on kind of like an incestuous relationship between a brother and a sister. So the brother and the sister have become sort of caretakers for their family because their dad's, I think he's not even in the picture, and their mum is like an alcoholic, and they have to look after their younger siblings. And in doing so, they sort of get in that position where they feel like they're a mum and dad, and then they end up falling for each other. It is honestly so freaking disturbing, and the way that it ends is just, wow, horrifying. But between, I think, Forbidden and Flowers in the Attic, like, it's interesting to read about that stuff, to see like what kind of situations make people feel this way and act this way. But it's definitely still disturbing to read. Like, definite trigger warnings. Number 7, Postmodern Prometheus. What is your favorite classic book? I think this is kind of obvious if you know me very well, but one of my favorite classics is obviously Pride and Prejudice. But if I'm not talking about Pride and Prejudice, I would have to say Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Definitely a classic that I didn't know what to think of it until about halfway through, and I was like, oh, I'm actually enjoying this. And then towards the end, I was like, oh my god, what did I just read? Like, it definitely went far from what I had expected it to be. But out of those two, yeah, Pride and Prejudice and Of Mice and Men. Number 8 is Bad Blood. What is your favourite way they used flashbacks to tell a story? I think I would have to pick a Colleen Hoover book for this one, which is Ugly Love. From what I remember, there's a lot of flashbacks to like the main character's previous relationships. Kind of like you don't really know what happened to one of the main characters, like what happened in their past relationship. So it's like the flashbacks tell this other story for you that matches up to what's happening in the present. And I really like the way that it was done. So question number 9 is Drive. What book have you read that is a non-stop ride? There are quite a few. The one that sort of came to mind was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, because it started off, you expected it to just go on from the first book and, you know, you were sort of rooting for Tamlin. And then it just, there was so much happening and so much that you came to realize that it was like, what? It was an emotional roller coaster, and it's definitely a book that has stayed with me and stayed with a lot of people, because a lot of things that happen in that book are just mind-blowing, in my opinion. Like, you don't expect it. There was a lot of twists and a lot of things going on. It was definitely like one thing after another, and you certainly were not bored. Let's have some cinnamon. Number 10, Milagro. What is a book setting you would never want to go to? There's a couple. I wouldn't want to go to Panem. That's probably the main one. Panem does not sound like fun, at least in the beginning of the Hunger Games. And I probably wouldn't, like, bringing back Handmaid's Tale again, I wouldn't want to go to Gilead, because that just sounds like hell to me. It does not sound good at all. I mean, it's not meant to sound good, but it definitely sounds like a terrifying place to live in. I think next to tacos, sushi is my favorite food, for sure. The other setting I wouldn't want to be in would be World War II, because I read a lot of historical fiction books that are set in World War II. And as much as I like reading them, I definitely do not want to be the one that experiences that, because that is just awful. I know traditionally you're meant to eat nigiri. You're meant to dip the rice from the nigiri in the soy sauce first, but you're meant to eat it in like one bite. I don't really know who I'm going to tag for this tag. It's been sort of a casual video, hasn't it? I didn't even have the books with me because I didn't want to make a mess. I think I'll tag Char, 12 Months of April, Books with Kayla because she shares my name, and Call Through the Pages. And maybe if I think of other people to tag, I'll tag them down the bottom. But if you want to do this tag, feel free to do so, and you don't have to eat. This was just me wanting to eat because I feel like doing a book tag and eating at the same time is actually a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. Last one. Well, that was delicious. I really had a lot of fun doing that tag. It was just nice and chilled, able to eat one of my favorite foods, just hang out with you guys. If you have any requests for another video and another like thing of food you'd like to see me eat while I film the video, let me know down below. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to do this tag, feel free to do so. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.